morning, ST Riders. Looking forward to a great second day of riding together. Headed out of Rocky Bayou State Park for our meetup place this morning at Whataburger. Looking forward to a ride westbound along the Gulf Island Seashore, National Seashore. Beautiful view of the northern Gulf of Mexico between Fort Walton Beach, Destin area, and Pensacola. We'll cross over the Naval Bridge, continue westward right along the beach to Pensacola Beach, then across the bridge into Gulf Breeze, and from there across the new bridge into Pensacola and over to the Naval Air Museum. Looking forward to a nice guided tour that we'll have there that Chewy has arranged. Then we'll either make our way back on Interstate 10, or if there's a group that wants to re-ride the Gulf Shore Drive, then I'll leave them on that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
We're being served. Morning, Wes.
Uh-oh.
Good morning. No, we're being documented.
Absolutely. So what's great about today, Dave Doolin?
Well, the sun is out. It's crisp. Great riding weather.
Indeed.
No bugs.
How good it is.
All right.
Oh.
Today, and there won't be a single bed on the visor.
Ah, isn't that nice? All right. All right, we're off. 9:01. Good job, Chewy, getting us going early, right on time. That's impressive. Alright, we are on Florida Highway 20, crossing from Blue Water Bay into Niceville over beautiful Rocky Bayou. What a gorgeous day we have. We're on a little bypass that goes around the north side of Niceville and go right beside the Northwest Florida State College. Bypasses some of the traffic in the main part of Niceville. Alright, we made it around Niceville. About to come out here onto Highway 85 that runs between the Valparaiso, Niceville area down to Fort Walton Beach, and ultimately on to Highway 98 westbound towards Pensacola. But we're just about to pass Eglin Air Force Base, where some of the runways come close to Highway 85. Also the Valparaiso Fort Walton Beach Airport, which shares the runways that Eglin Air Force Base has. You can see the terminal right there. Across the way is the 33rd Fighter Wing, and then further back around to the left is some of the other facilities of Eglin Air Force Base. Right over there is the end of the runway. We often have the joy of seeing fighter jets fly right over this section of the highway on their approach into the runways. Here we are passing on the south side of Hurlburt Field. Runway coming in, the flight path. Often we see C-130 gunships coming in. You can see one right over there parked. And the tails of the others lined up along the tarmac. That's a gunship. You can see the cannon sticking out from the back left side of the plane. Amazing aircraft. So we're about to make our turn out onto the Gulf Island. And here we go, over what many refer to as the Sound, or the Intercoastal Waterway that runs from Choctawhatchee Bay all the way to Pensacola Bay. There is not a single inlet, unless it's after a hurricane, along this whole section of the island. A large portion of it back to the east from here is owned by the Air Force, by the government, so you can't even travel. You can turn left here at the end of this bridge, and there's a nice park and some beach access and pavilions. There are some artificial reefs, snorkel reefs, in about 15 foot of water, about 100 yards offshore, that are a nice swim for those of you that might ever enjoy coming down to snorkel or scuba dive. Some guys will scuba dive in. It's a very shallow dive. A little bit of a tote getting your gear out onto the beach, but not too bad. This first portion is a residential, of course, area, as well as commercial. Number of condos, hotels, and some individual homes. Some past hurricanes have caused some extreme damage in this area. Fortunately, nothing as bad as what Mexico Beach suffered a little over a year ago from Hurricane Michael. But you talk to people that have lived in this area for long, and they can tell you not only from Ivan, then back to Opal and Aaron, back in the late 90s, mid 90s, I guess. And I guess Ivan was in the late 20s, maybe right around 2010 or just before that, I can't remember. But some of these homes sat damaged for years after Opal and Aaron, and then again after Ivan. I'm afraid that some of those areas, Mexico Beach, are going to take a long time to recover as well. But fortunately, from what I've seen, all of those homes have been rebuilt, remodeled, and have looked much more weatherproof than what they did before. And some other new construction still going in where some of those homes were destroyed or torn down. And some people do like vibrant colors out here on beach homes, and even a combination of vibrant colors when it's a multi-dwelling townhomes. This area of the beach has a nice system of dunes and the beach grasses that help protect the properties, as well as from beach erosion. We're about to get out of the residential area into the national seashore area, and we'll have some views of the beach. There's a beach access parking area, boardwalk over the dune. They really try to protect the dunes because of not only turtle nesting but also bird nesting. There's a lot of seashore birds. Certain times of the year they'll have special signs up here flashing because of the abundance of birds nesting along this beach, and they'll limit your speed. Already I think it's limited to 25 miles an hour. I've ridden across here at times when crabs are scurrying across the road. So 35 miles an hour here, but like I said, sometimes of the year they'll pull it down to even 25. Here's a little view of the Gulf. We've got a beach access area right up here in about a half a mile we're scheduled to pull off on, and it'll give a good opportunity for guys to take some photographs and experience some of the beautiful white sugary sand that we have in this area. Beautiful, beautiful. Never get tired of that. You been down here before, Lee?
No, sir.
It's beautiful, isn't it? A lot of bicyclists out here in that nice bike lane. At least when the sand's not blown over on it, like on this side. Uh-oh. That's not good. We're coming up on the actual park that's out here. It's a pay entrance with some real nice picnic pavilions, beach access, bathhouse, restrooms, run by the Park Service. Called Opal Beach. Love this section right here. About as close to the beach as you get. And welcome to Pensacola Beach. Portofino Towers straight ahead. There's another artificial reef for those of you that enjoy snorkeling at this most eastward beach access. Well, it's the first main beach access after Portofino Towers, on the east side of Portofino Towers. They've also added some more of those artificial reef snorkel reefs over on Okaloosa Island at Beasley Park, as well as one of the beach accesses on the western portion of Okaloosa Island. I don't remember which beach access number right now. For those of you that do enjoy camping out near the beach, Fort Pickens. There's of course an old fort out there that can be toured, but there's also a state park or a national park, I can't remember, out there at the very western tip of Pensacola Beach. And we're backing now to the residential area. This portion of residential area of Pensacola Beach. Some condos will come up here in a couple miles. And then we'll be in the commercial area. A number of restaurants, large parking area with beach access and more public restrooms. An amphitheater. They do concerts in the evening during the tourist season. Of course, we're in the snowboard season now, so not many people are coming down here to go to the beach. They're just coming down here to get away from the snow and the cold. You can see the well-known water tower up here at the Pensacola Beach public area. It was poking out there for a moment. We'll get a better view of it here shortly. They painted that water tower like a beach ball. Some RV camping, as well as hotels. Great area to vacation here, Okaloosa Island, Destin, South Walton County. Scooter rentals just about everywhere you look. If you want a bike rental, I know the couple of different Harley Davidson shops will rent bikes through the Eagle Rider program. It's a big propeller.
Put that on the jump boat.
Yeah.
I love the dragon there, the guy that's strong ones in the midway. The dragon holding my gun.
Look, there's a dog.
Probably one of the top two most famous airplanes in the museum. So this is a Curtiss very large flying boat designed to replace the H-16. So the two-engine airplane of the photo, the two-engine plane, which is our workhorse in Europe. Great airplane, except guess what? Had a 5-hour range at 95 miles an hour. Couldn't climb in Europe. Because even if the weather was really nice, which it really is in Europe.
Take a picture of the process.
So you had, that was probably the first of the, kind of historic record-setting flights. Then you had, eventually you had Lindbergh, okay. So Lindbergh made his flight across the Atlantic. Back there with the blue other red cabin on the back there, that's a Boeing F-4. It took us years to find one of those in existence, and it turned out it was buried underneath a parking lot at a technical college in Seattle. So during World War II, that's an fuselage behind the pilot. It's armored and self-sealing, so there's no fuel in the wing. Zero had fuel in the wing, and the tanks weren't armored, so if you got any hits in the wing of a Zero, they were done for. The pilot didn't have any armor. If you got any hits in the fuselage around the cockpit, he was probably done for. So, and that wasn't the case with this airplane. So the Flying Tigers were a mercenary air group, 3 squadrons. They were based in China. They were U.S. Navy, Marine, and Army Air Force pilots who had resigned their commitment. So they got the 100 airplanes. They shipped them to Rangoon. They went around the country and they rounded up Navy, Marine, and Air Force fighter pilots to get their spirits back up, and ideally it would be attack on the Japanese homeland. Okay, so everybody's going, I don't know where we're going to do that. The closest island that we own to Japan is Midway, and it's like we're 2,500 miles away. There's no way. The captains got together, and finally they decided the best way to do it was taking it. And then they would fly a one-way mission, drop their bombs on Japan, and continue to China because of the bombs had a delayed fuse. They didn't go off for a couple of seconds, and they just took out ships like crazy. So the Japanese didn't know that they'd come back, because they couldn't hear them because they're in their ship rumbling along and everything. And all of a sudden, bombs are going off. So when the war ended, the Navy aircraft with the highest tonnage of Japanese ships sunk was very 9 guys. So pretty neat. Okay. Yeah, cause on a 20-hour flight, everybody could take a nap. So you had three naval aviators. So you had a pilot, a co-pilot, and the navigator was also a naval aviator. So they'd take turns swapping off and stuff. So. So we won't go back in here. We got some Korean aircraft back in here. You guys got some other carriers here for our. That's what they came to get. Carriers over there. There was a ship there. This plane is sitting outside next to the hangar. So February was on the first big offensive raid, really real big offensive raid. It was kind of a surprise attack in that New Guinea is kind of an east-west type island. There was an airfield called Lae, a city called Lae, L-A-E, which was on the north side of New Guinea. Then there was
Hold my hand if you want to go to the slide. Oh, no. I guess you don't want to go to the
high angle attack. It is armored, it is heavy armored, but if you took a big bomb in it, that's the end of that. It would take you probably a day. First set of aircraft when we entered the war, when you go to war, you're stuck with what you have. So we had the Wildcat and some of the other awfulness. So Navy helos have folding blades, as do and Marine helos. So this is a Sikorsky SH-60 Seahawk, Navy version of the Black Hawk. Except we use ours for different missions. This is an anti-submarine helicopter. The way that thing goes. So both missiles are pretty effective. The Sidewinder costs about 1/10 of our Navy less, so on that. Okay, so the laser locks onto the target in front of the airplane. You drop the bomb, and as you fly over the target, that turret just rotates and keeps the laser right on the target, and the bombs hit as you're going. The laser's pointed backwards and hits and the bombs follow it to the target. It's a rotary Gatling gun that fires 6,000 rounds a minute. 6,000 rounds of shells this long. It'd be armor piercing, explosive.
Well, we had a great time at the Naval Aviation Museum in Pensacola. Now we're headed north on Blue Angels Parkway, eventually getting on Interstate 10 and beeline it back to Rocky Bayou State Park. Have a great evening barbecue meal from Jim and Nick's Barbecue over at Shuey's house, and a restful night. And that'll wrap up Florida Stock 2019.